Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
We got her working, Greg. Teamwork, buddy.
It's hard to believe we finally got this thing to run, but it's I'll explain it. It's been my computer and it's been acting up, and I thought for the last show, because I'm having everything replaced tomorrow or on the weekend here, that we'd be able to get through it, and it may let me do it, because the only time this happens, and Shawn, this is really interesting, the only time this happens is on Fridays. On Wednesday, I do my show, One Spirit Connect, and it's all
Hmm.
Essence Method, and there's no problem.
Right.
So I don't know exactly what it is. I have some ideas. Uh, I thought we'd be able to get it solved, and did our best, but you sort of saved the show tonight for sure, and for that I'm grateful. I feel that we're in such a community that we're able to go ahead and be all part of the big family, and push comes to shove for me. The first time anybody says that to me, I am all in for them.
Hmm.
And that's the way it has to be. You have to
Yeah.
take care of each other. And so we were talking earlier a little bit about some of the locations. Uh, out of all the locations you've been to, what would be the top three?
Oh, the top three that I've actually been to would probably one would be Manlius, Illinois.
Which one?
Manlius, Illinois.
Manlius.
Yeah, we had a residential case there that was super interesting that we had to deal with. The second one would be here in Galesburg, Illinois, where we teamed up with Parallax Paranormal with the old team. And a while back, it's been several years ago, they found a half a body in that house. And after they found the body, Parallax was actually called in to investigate the house. And they went in, investigated, and they said there's something there that they couldn't handle. So they called the old team in, and we went in there, and that investigation was really intense. It was a 14-hour investigation until we figured out what was going on. And then I would say the third one that was probably the next most interesting. I would have to say probably Broadhead Manor when I seen one of the people. Well, I thought it was actually Bill Walter walking up the steps down by the boiler room, and I'm wondering why everybody was just sitting around because Bill was giving us a tour of the place, and I could have swore it was Bill that walked up the stairs, and the dog followed him, went down by the boiler room to that little section there,
Yeah.
took a right, and nobody was there, and the dog followed him. So I went up the stairs. I'm like, I don't know why everybody's sitting here. I get up to the stairs, the dog's sitting there, and all the doors are locked. They're all got padlocks on them. Nobody's there.
He's been such a great gentleman. He's always been such a great host. Uh, I could name off a real lot of different places across the country that I've been into, and you know what? He is number one as far as host is concerned.
Oh, most definitely.
He uh, he goes out of his way every time. There's not a question he doesn't answer. There's not a if you ask for something, ask for help or anything, he always follows through. He's always there right on the spot for you. Drops everything, whatever he's doing, and he takes care of your. It's like a first class hotel.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mentioned something about wanting to do an in at his place and use a fog door, and I told him what I wanted, and he made it out of PVC pipe, and it was actually a doorway on stands, and it had the holes in it so the fog would come out of it. And we would spurt fog through it, and we wanted to see if anything would actually walk through that door.
How'd that go?
It was interesting. We actually had live videos on YouTube for it, and I think they're still up. We caught a few odd things come through it.
We were there one night, and this is quite a while ago, and he was into the fog in the hallway outside of the gym, and it was green that night, and we were waiting to see if we could see anybody pass through the fog.
Right.
And on my end, I just started shooting pictures with my camera. And I have a picture of a head almost elongated to, like the back of the head would be almost to the point.
Right.
There was a feather, and it looked like either an Aztec or an Inca.
Interesting.
And one of those tribes has been all the way up there.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I saw the picture, the next 2 days later or whatever it was, I went ahead and I sent it to him, and I said, look, and he said, yep. He says, it's right on the money. That guy's probably up and down the hallways all the time.
Yeah.
So, really interesting.
I like being up there. I like that place a lot.
It's like a home, except for that Chinese restaurant in town. That place, I don't know, for carry out.
Yeah.
I think we only did it once, and I don't know if it was me and Resnick.
Mm-hmm. Bobby.
We went over there to get something to eat. It was like, that was that last Paracon.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I like being up there. I liked going to that. I was I've been up there probably 4 times total so far.
Yeah, it's 40, right around 50 minutes from me. We're that close to the Wisconsin line.
Mm-hmm.
We're like about 10 minutes from the line, and then it's pretty much pure west.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 45 minutes for me. One of the things I've always told Bill, every time I go there and I use my GPS, I never ever go the same way twice, ever.
It just takes you all over the place, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I've mentioned it to a couple other people, like Haunted Happy Hour, and they said the same thing. They've never been the same way twice to get there.
What kind of GPS do you got?
I just use the Google on my phone.
Oh, just the Google.
Yeah, Google Maps, and it never ever takes me the same way twice, guaranteed.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I think the last time when I went down there, it took me down the back country roads, and some of those roads were closed off, and then I turned around and had to backtrack the other way just because they were closed.
Well, if you're down in some places in Indiana, I used to work with Dale Kaczmarek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on the south side of Chicago. I was with Dale for probably 6-7 years. And we used to go ahead and go to a lot of locations. He would drive, and he had what he called a TomTom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like one of the first years they had GPS out, right?
Yeah.
We'd be driving along going about 75 miles an hour on this little dirt road, and all of a sudden he'd slam on the brakes. We'd be going sideways, and there would be a cornfield in front of us.
Yeah. Yeah. We've come across some dead end roads before.
It's like, you got to be kidding. Those,
Just makes me wonder how technology with these semis are going to do when they start doing GPS runs with them and computerized drivers.
oh man, it's going to be hell. Somebody's going to get killed.
Oh yeah, most
So
definitely.
I put that post there with me in Supernatural Link, and then I forgot to mention the fact that I'm on your page right now, or on your show. So I put that on the bottom, and it's covered, and it's all on YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know. They
Well,
did
it's actually your show, Greg.
well. Right now, the next time it'll be your show and my show together. That's all.
True.
And who knows? Who knows what's down the road?
Very true.
You'd end up going ahead and doing a show together. Who the heck knows?
Very
I
possible.
I
Very
came,
possible.
I ended up. I don't know if you knew this or not, but we were down in the Keys, actually in Key West. I was in there January 12th, and we came back about 12 days later. And my brother and sister-in-law had a house 3 keys up, and they sold it. So they decided that they were going to do a B&B in Key West itself.
Cool.
And it was like, we were invited to go. We had it was basically a 3 bedroom, and there are all those little long houses, not very wide, about a bedroom and a half wide, and
Hmm.
there's a hallway. It goes back, and it had this beautiful kitchen that you wouldn't even believe would be in this place. And at the back end there were sliders, and opened up, and there was a pool in the backyard.
That's cool.
So it was like, I have been down there quite a lot, but I was never in Key West for the whole entire time I was there. And I there's a gentleman down there that I became friends with, that he's the one that had Robert the Doll.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And that's David Sloan. And
Hmm.
we became really good friends even before, I was getting ready to go down there, over the last 4 years or so. And I messaged him, and I says, I'm going to be coming down there. And he says, oh, great. He says, message me when you get in town. And I says, okay. Well, we were there one day. He messages me, and he says, how about coming over to the fort the next night? And
Hmm.
I think it's Monticello, it's called. It's the one fort where they have Robert.
Right.
So he says, and he was real nice, and he took care of me and my wife and my brother and sister-in-law with the entries and everything for this. And we were there an actual ghost hunt
Hmm.
of the fort. And Robert was there and everything, and we did that. And I messaged him when we got home. We got home about 11:30 or 12 or something like that, and I messaged him, and I said, hey, thank you very much. And he says, well, if you get any time tomorrow afternoon or towards the evening, he says, call me. And I said, okay, fine. And he bought that old firehouse, the
Hmm.
original firehouse in Key West. You
Oh
probably
wow.
I did. You see the? I think my pictures were on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I went over there. He says, hey, do me a favor. The tour starts at such a time. He says, if you get over here, come on over here like an hour early. And I said, okay. And I was like 2.5 blocks away. So I walked over there. It's the first place ever that I've ever been to that I didn't have to drive to. And I go in the backyard, behind the back where the entry is off the old, behind the old firehouse. They had a big fence up around it. and,
Hmm.
and that's where they used to keep the horses. So it was like, holy crap, this is really cool. Well, I get there and he goes, and he has this big round card table like in the backyard there, and
Hey, Kimmy.
he's got all these. He has all this equipment on there, and he has all these headphones. He says, grab a pair of headphones and some sort of device you want to use, for going ahead and doing an investigation. And I just looked down and I just said, well, I'll just take a K2 with me. And I put the headphones on. It was like a guided tour. And all through the whole back, the outside there were they had two fire trucks outside, and they had these different locations back there, and they had candles with a glass tube about it.
Hello, Barb.
Hey, Barb, thank you. And they were numbered 1 through 14. And the last one was up in the top of the firehouse, up where they slept.
Hmm.
And we did all that. I did it all, got it all done. We filmed part of it through Supernatural Inc. Uh,
Cool.
with Katie, and it was really hard because I have some issues here,
Hmm.
and we did it the best we could, and we got done, and there were times that nobody could see anything because I'm listening, and at the same time I'm trying to make sure I'm recording it, or they see it what I'm filming, and I have this light, and the light will go one way, and I got the
Hmm.
it's it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And we did the whole in the inside of the firehouse. Once again, this is 1907, so the inside's entirely different. And then they had this big stairway that went upstairs where they had the bunks.
Hmm.
And the big part of the whole story of this place is the fact that there was a fire chief in the 60s who was arrested on a sting operation,
Oh, wow.
drug operation. They found him guilty in Key West, and he had to go up to Miami for his sentencing, and he disappeared.
Hmm.
And his last name was Farto, Farto.
That's kind of strange.
It was his real name. I have two business cards that were on his desk, so
Oh, wow.
you can take a couple business cards if you want. But I sat there and I did 3 sessions, EVP sessions,
Hmm.
that were probably 15 or 20 minutes at his desk, and we just finished reviewing them last week, and we're going to put them all together and make it and put it up on the page,
That's cool.
because it was really neat. But this guy is the actual name. Well, it was Farto. Well, they didn't use his first name, but when he was busted for the drugs, they called him a bum.
Oh,
So that's his name, Bum Farto.
oh,
And,
wow.
and David Sloan actually wrote a book on where is Bum Farto.
Hmm.
And the book that he did before that was the Kennedy connection in Key West, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of Cubans in there, and all those Cubans were everybody was somehow connected,
Right.
and they had pictures of, who was it? It was Oswald, and who's the guy that shot him?
Actually, Oswald's the one that shot Kennedy, wasn't it?
No, I'm saying when he got shot. It was
Oh, oh, gosh. I know who you're talking about, and I
Yeah,
can't even think of his
I
name.
can't think of it either. But the part of it that's interesting is the fact that there are actual sightings. They have pictures of Oswald and him,
Connectivity.
Jack
Yeah.
Ruby, together in Key West.
Hmm.
And this is all when that invasion was going to go down.
Right.
And they had all those beaches were closed, and they had all these guns that were set up on the beaches in Key West. And what happened was they started the invasion, and they had 1,800 of these Cubans going in to the beaches on these assault craft. And what they were supposed to do is they were supposed to launch all these planes that were supposed to go ahead and give them cover and let them be able to get it.
Right.
Kennedy pulled the pin on the planes and didn't send them. And all those guys that hit those beaches were all killed.
Oh, wow.
So there was some vengeance to do with what had happened, and it's via the Cubans. So he put that together for his book, and his book is, Who Killed Kennedy?
Mm-hmm.
It basically, did Key West kill Kennedy?
I'll have to
And
check
the book
that
came
out.
out. Here, hold on a second. So you. He's got his first book was Robert the Doll, and he did the whole book and all the history on it. This is the book that he gave me when I went down there.
Huh. I'll have to check that out.
It's really interesting. It says the island that changed the course of history, and he's an amazing man. He does all the Key West tours, and he has everything covered.
I'll check that out. I like Kennedy, reading about Kennedy stuff.
Yeah, it's really something. He has the one that he did on Bumfardo. That is the last one. Then he has another one that he was talking about to me, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like last week that he was talking. And he has a certain schedule that he has to reach to go ahead and have it complete.
Right.
That kind of stuff. So it's really interesting. But what are do you have any favorite? As long as we're talking about authors, do you have any favorite paranormal authors that you really like?
I like to read about Egyptian magic, but not a specific author in general, just kind of variety, as long as it goes in depth about the stuff that I learn.
I have a big Egypt book. I'm trying to figure out where it is. One of these days I'll show it to you, but it's a big thick one.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that I got that's really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Isis.
Mm-hmm. I like Anubis.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. When I went through my Menaki rites, the Reiki master that I was training under, she gave me the 9 rites of the Menakis.
Yeah.
And when I was going through the Menaki rites, Anubis actually showed up in my dreams and was showing me things in my dreams. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, that had to be amazing.
Yeah, he was actually standing. We were actually standing behind a pyramid in the dream, and he looked at me and leaned down and put his arms like this, like a brother handshake.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Family." And then I turned and looked, and it looked like he was showing me how they made the pyramids. And one of the things I thought was interesting was the fact they wasn't rolling them through sand. They were using crystals and levitation and some type of a magnetic field to pick them up off the ground and move them across the ground and place them in those sections.
Holy cow. Because there's been all sorts of different stories about how they did things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably did it with a magnetic field and crystals and the way they did things, because if you start digging into the Egyptians, they had electricity back then, and they had all sorts of stuff that, we didn't even think existed.
Were you on Facebook today?
Not a lot today. I was at work most of the day.
There's on a page on the Facebook page today. There was a one of these posts that they do, and it was an object that they found that was something like 10,000 plus years old,
Hmm.
that looked like a spark plug type device.
Hmm.
And they were insinuating that we keep on going through a cycle
Hmm.
from civilization, from growing and growing and learning and
Right.
growing, and we get to a certain point, and then we disappear, and then the next people start and do
Hmm.
it all over again.
Yeah, I kind of have a theory, my own theory, anyhow. But I think sometimes if we haven't learned what we're on this planet for and understand what's going on, we come back. We keep coming back to the same cycle until we understand what exactly is going on. And then when we finally get it, you either go to the light or you can turn around and go to the universe. But one of the things that they always say, is what's the first thing you see when you're born? The light. Because that's the first thing you see when you're a baby, the light.
Right.
So is that a portal to come back here every time? Is come into the light? What happens if you turn around and go out to the universe and become everything with it, like the old gods did?
Well, I heard that either you go to the light or you come back to relive
Mm-hmm.
all over again.
Yeah. I think that if you have not learned your lesson here, I think you come back. It might not be the same person. It might be a family member of yours. It might be another family altogether, but you come back to relearn what you didn't learn.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things that have gone on that you just can't believe. People, they just look at you like, what planet did you come from that you could talk about that kind of stuff? And it's like, hey, it's obvious,
I
you
mean,
know.
people talk about when they've had near death experiences, the shadows they've seen, and everything else, and everybody's experience is different. So, what makes some of the ones that we think about a little differently? Who knows if they're actually right or wrong?
I have a PTSD group, from Vietnam group, that's at the VA, and I'm with these guys, and I've been with these guys now for like 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them almost died, like 4 months. It was October, I think, last October. He was going into the VA down there, and he started getting a little lightheaded, and he thought, well, I'll sit down once I get through the door, and all the lights went out, and he was gone for 15 minutes.
Oh wow!
They brought they brought him back. They broke three of his ribs, pounding on him that hard. They got him back. So earlier today, in group, him and I were talking, and we were talking about the NDEs, and what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I says, "Can you tell me what you saw?" Exactly what you said. Exactly. And I
Yeah.
said, you didn't, I, when I, when I, when I went down, it was all, it was very similar. I was unconscious for, I think it was close to 7 hours, 7 or 8 hours. I got hit in the temple with a hockey puck
Oh,
playing,
wow.
playing in a hockey game. I used to play at a semi
Hey, Victor.
senior men's division. And hey, Victor's here.
Yep, Victor Santiago from the Dong and Vic Show.
Yep, great guy. And all I had was I had like a single track that would go up and down like this, and there was a wheel on it. And the wheel was going up and down the track
Hmm.
and kept on going and going and going until I hit the light.
I
And
think one of the things I think is everybody has a different frequency they pick up mentally. And depending on what that frequency is, you'll learn something from your guides or your guardians is what I call it, because I've got my guards and or guides and guardians as well. And those frequencies, if you're attuned to them, you can hear the things that they're talking about. And it's strange. I mean, people might think you're crazy, but how else would you know that? And it actually makes sense.
it's it's unbelievable what we've learned with what we do today. Yourself and me and a lot of the people that are in this room right now, they all understand, exactly what we're talking about. And it's sort of mind boggling to think that there's people that just refuse refuse to admit to a lot of this, that of things that they experienced and stuff like that.
Hello, Sparks Splendorman. Hello.
I can't. I know that person.
Yeah, I think frequencies, and I think they're really interesting because, like I said, you can manipulate water with them, a frequency. You can manipulate the weather with it. We all know that from a certain machine that we get in trouble for talking about. But it's amazing that how people's mind perceive things.
You,
And like you said, everybody does it differently.
you know that frequency generator?
Hmm.
It's got looks like a record on it
Yeah.
that they were selling.
Hmm.
I don't think there's too many people that don't have one. I haven't used mine for a while, but you can use it for a variety of reasons
Hmm.
and subjects, and it's things that normal folk, I don't know what you would call them, if you would call them God fearing or whatever. It it's not the point. It's the
Hmm.
point that we all have to go on our own journey,
Right.
and we have to take it the way it
Thank
is.
you.
Christy's here.
Yep.
I got to meet her someday. I've never met her.
I haven't met her yet either. She pops in all the time. We got Raven Wolf here as well
Oh,
from
Raven.
from All Access. She's in the house.
I left a message on her when she was doing her little tour at the up there in Salem tonight, and I was wondering if I can't remember his name right now, and I had his name. There's a gentleman that was with us uh, up in Janesville, Wisconsin. There was a Paracon that was done by, and then I forgot her name. Uh, about 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we were all there, and you see, she said the same.
Mm-hmm.
and we were all there. And he left where Wisconsin, and he went to Salem, and he's been living there. No, it wasn't yet. Uh, but anyway, it's three names. She has three names, and if she finds out that I forgot her name, she's going to shoot me. It'll be one of those things, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But anyway, it was really neat. And Deed is a wonderful woman too.
Yeah.
I've known her for quite some time. She was up there. She was at the same Paracon at the Holiday Inn that year. A lot of people, Patty Negri and Natalie Jones were there, and
I've met both of them.
What's his name from Morgan City, the big guy from down there. He was a demonologist.
Mm.
He was in that series. But anyway, it was interesting. So we were talking earlier about your adventures this coming year. What is going to be the main one that you really want to go ahead and spend some time on?
Well, when me and Phantom Pals was down in Melbourne, Iowa, at Melbourne Manor, it started getting interesting. But I only got to stay one night there. The guy that's down the hallway that normally chases the nurses, that everybody said, we actually got some reaction out of him. And see shadows coming out of the doorway with him. And I actually stuck my hand into that shadow, and they got it on their film recording. Phantom Pals did. And so that was interesting, because I was sitting down at the end of that hallway for probably 10 minutes, and we wasn't getting nothing at all. And I said, hey, you can come out here and talk to me if you want. And the next thing you know, the REM pod just started going nuts. And I was sitting there at the end of the hallway for, like I said, 10 minutes and nothing. And then Leah, she walked down the hallway. When she walked down the hallway, everything stopped. But I said, look at the door. And she looked at the door, and there's a dark, dense shadow that was on the doorway. And I went to go put my hand in. I said, feel this energy sitting here. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And you can almost see my hand turn a different shade when it went into that energy.
And then all your hair stand up all the way up your arm?
No, I actually like stuff like that. It takes a lot to really get me going. I haven't really got scared yet. And the more intriguing it is, the more I want to go to it to figure out what the hell it is. Does that make sense?
I don't think that the term scared really has to do with it. It's us and we're unaware of what we're going to experience. I don't get scared either. I just do it. And some of the things that happened, James Ravenwolf. No, it wasn't James. It was Matthew Skerritt. He has long hair. Yeah, he's like a brother to me. Okay, Raven. Tell him I said hi, please. And I saw him with you maybe about 4 months ago on some show. You were together, and he was very nice. He's a very polite individual, and he was at that same event we were just talking about in Janesville. Hey, David. But that's always interesting, and I find it that there's a lot of people that catch on, or that become more aware than others do. The reason I said that about the hair on my arms is because that's happened to me ever since I've been a little kid. And that's a first sign. And then I can turn on, everything else that makes me sense things a little differently than some of the other people do.
Right
So,
when I started getting into the Reiki and everything else, and then realizing that I can make energy between my hands, I just got fascinated with that, and then I just followed it along. And actually, some people can actually stand about 10 or 15 feet away, and I can go like this,
and
and they can actually feel me right in the palm of their hand.
we got to do that sometime.
They actually caught me on camera down in the Masonic Lodge in Keysburg, Illinois. Haunted Happy Hour actually got it on an SLS on a heat camera, and it was showing the energy transferring from my hand to the client's hand that was there that night, and it was flashing the same colors.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Have you ever been to an Odd Fellows Club?
No. Nope, I haven't.
There's one, if you're going up to that Paracon in DeKalb, there's one that's really close to there. What was the date on that Paracon? Was it in June or something? March?
Actually, that one is on the 21st of this month.
Okay, so there's not enough time. I have a friend that can get us in to that club, and that is really a crazy club. There's nobody there anymore. They do have meetings, but not anywhere compared to what they used to do back in the 30s and that.
Right.
Because each one of those clubs has a corpse.
Oh, wow.
In a coffin with the lid raised.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them that's the reason why some of them were shut down, depending on what the towns were that they were in and what was going on with the people.
There's a church up on the square here in Galesburg that's actually got a child in a coffin up here. And they say he's kind of the guardian of Galesburg. And that's why storms really don't hit us that much, is because of that child that's in that coffin up there.
That's amazing. Christy says what we call hairs are actually receptors. There you go.
I believe that.
We can go. You want to go another 10 or 15 minutes, or are you?
You can go as long as you want, Greg.
Let's go another 10 or 15 since we've been screwed up so much, or I've been screwed up so much tonight. You've been the guardian angel. I haven't been.
We got you straightened out. We have it all covered, bud.
You wouldn't believe how it all has left. And I feel it's so much nicer. It's and then in the meantime, you try to go ahead and come up with formed thoughts, and this is like the result of that bombardment. It's like you're coming out of a bunker after you get hit. God, it's crazy. So, are you going to go ahead and keep on having dogs your whole life, or what?
Have dogs?
Yeah.
Well, eventually the game plan was I was going to get 2 German Shepherds, and I was going to name one guardian and one angel.
There you go.
But after my girlfriend died about 3.5 years ago, well, it'll be 4 years ago on the 13th, this coming up.
Sorry to hear that.
That about 2 weeks later, after her funeral, and then about 3 days later, this dog showed up. Somebody brought me a dog. So that's how I got my Great Pyrenees, that somebody brought me him to kind of keep me from, how do I say, getting out of trouble.
Yeah.
Kind of keep me occupied instead of being bummed out and keeping me busy, which he does. He's stubborn.
That's for sure. That's a good thing. They helped you out the right way. But there's so many, what's really neat about our communities is it doesn't really matter what town you're in or where you go to. There's always somebody that's going to be there that understands what you're about.
It's going to be that long on the 13th of this month. She passed away.
Wow.
Yep. I actually had something really interesting happen not long after she passed and after the funeral. I think I've told this story a couple times on a few other shows of mine that I came home one night and the kitchen was black and I didn't even have the dog yet. It was like the lights were totally out. And I walked into the kitchen. I was talking to my mom on my cell phone. And I start coming into the kitchen. And I was just about ready to flip a light switch because there's a light switch just like sitting right here to the right of me. Just about ready to flip it. And I look in the dining room and I seen a full apparition of her standing there right in front of me. And I said, you know, it kind of struck me and I was in shock. But I said, you have more power than you can imagine. And she nods her head. I said, you come back to check on me? She nods her head. I said, you come back to check on all the people that was at the funeral and stuff that you were friends? She nods her head. And I said, you'll always be around. And she nods her head. And I said, you'll be back. And she nods her head and she walks straight out my front door, through my living room and right out the front door.
Wow. That's awesome. You only need one person to completely understand you. The rest don't need to know. Just takes one. That's it. I have to talk to this Christy.
Yeah, she pops into my shows quite a bit.
She's seems to be an amazing lady. Barbara's a good lady. She's part of the Wednesday show that we do. She's our moderator. She does all the pendulum work for validation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, when Guardian came, he was just a pup at the time. And it was not long after itself, and it was like maybe a couple weeks later, because I got him probably 3 days after her funeral. And then it's probably about a week after that. And Guardian just woke up at like 3 a.m. and just started barking and growling for no reason. And my ears just get this ear piercing sound in them. And all of a sudden I heard my girlfriend's voice as clear as day. And she was telling me stuff in my ears. And one of the things, she says, just remember what we had was real and don't you ever forget it. And I'll always love you. So, I mean, and I heard it just like clear as day as me and you were talking, along with a few other things that she said that night.
Something very, very precious.
Yeah, I mean, ever since then, it seems like when I close my eyes and I concentrate long enough, I go to that side with her. I cross that veil and I go visit. And it seemed like she can talk to me just like me and you were talking. And I don't think a lot of people understand that if you've got that concentration and focus in your mind, you can do just about anything.
That's really an interesting scenario right there. I go to different places too.
Yeah. I'll even play frequencies at night. If I can't sleep, I'll play certain frequencies at night and it'll just send me right to where I want to go.
They always told me that my ringing of my ears was because of all the explosions that went off. They still go.
Yeah, they've said that with the factory workers too. With all the loud noises in the factories in there, and they said that's why they're bringing in yours. And then I've come to the conclusion, the more you dig down the rabbit hole, like some of us do, it's not what they're saying it is. It's something else. You're actually tuning into something that got their interest.
In other words, the bell on the phone is going off, and you're supposed to be answering it.
Exactly.
That is really, really cool.
Yep.
Well,
I'm a pretty firm believer of that.
That's an amazing way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
She plays frequencies to you?
No, she says I play frequencies too, Shawn. She's saying she does it as well.
Oh, okay.
Higher dimension and accept. Yeah, I do the same thing.
I was talking to Shawn before when we were having all the difficulties, and I have one of those boxes, and quite a few of the people that do the Wednesday show have them. As far as the connections are concerned to the other side, when we do a lot of the Estes that we do, and it sort of grounds us to a certain extent for myself in the long run. And I still haven't got this one to go. I've copied them, but I have it's basically brand new. I just haven't really used the one yet.
Yeah, I'd love to get into an experiment using frequencies along with like water, because Tesla got into opening portals and he used certain types of frequencies, and it was along with the nature, some of the stuff, and he would actually open up portals where he could actually see another dimension.
It was 11 something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just was thinking about something and I thought for a second. I forgot it.
But yeah, frequencies and energy has always been kind of fascinated with me since I've gotten to the paranormal field, and I just keep sucking down the rabbit hole with it.
Keep on going. Don't look back.
I mean, I've had some weird dreams where I've actually got some blueprints I've actually drawn out after I got up, a dream that I've had about energy and frequency stuff.
I can do hand energy.
Yeah, I can do hand energy.
Here, look at this one. The Wawa tubes.
Correlates with chakras when I play them. Yeah. That's right. I've actually used singing bowls. I actually like the singing bowls.
I have one. But it wasn't, I found it and at the old house that I was in before we built the rest of this one. And it's right here. I can't hold it like that. It's taken a lot away from it. If I put it down, it'll go for quite some time. But it's something that I end up doing down the road.
I actually read an article once that the bells in the church were meant to heal people every time they rang them all the time. And now you got them on speakers. It's not the same type of thing.
No, they had people object to the fact that they were actually going ahead and ringing bells, which is maddening if you think about it. Why would that? It's part of our heritage,
Yeah, culture.
culture.
Yeah,
So
so,
we're pretty late now, 25 after. I say we'll do another one,
oh,
okay?
most definitely. Most
And
definitely.
and I want to thank you very much for all your help. And it's
No,
been,
no problem. Anytime.
and hopefully this will be the last one that I had any issues with.
Well, I know one thing. I used to have bugs all the time when I had bad internet service. Sometimes my camera would go out. Sometimes I'd look fuzzy. Sometimes I'd look blurry. And everybody else would look fine except for me. But I finally got through all that and got my internet up to the fiber optic style. And
Yep.
things have been working really well here lately, except for the fact that about 5 weeks ago, I downloaded Windows, a new set of Windows, and it knocked out the camera in my laptop. So every time I got on StreamYard, my camera didn't work.
Oh man.
But the funny part about it, I'd be backstage, my camera would work fine, but as soon as I'd go live, couldn't find none of the drivers, nothing. The camera didn't exist according to the little thing. And I'm like, what in the hell? So then finally, I just like, screw this. I went out and bought me a new camera and I set it up on top, plugged it in, and it works fine now. Now I got 1080 HDP now, which is pretty good, high definition.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is if I don't remember to download some of the stuff off my hard drive, I can't show pictures that I want to
Oh,
show because I had my hard drive plugged in all the time where my camera was. So
this whole time that I've been having these issues happen was actually the time after I came back home from Key West. And it was going to be the time that I was going to be actually
hey, Lori.
working on that part. Hey, Lori Bragg? I haven't
Yeah,
seen her in a long time.
no doubt. She finally woke up. I just talked to Pam Harris a few days ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I hadn't talked to her for a while either. And I was like, Lori's still kicking and screaming. And she goes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. Old names, people that Kim has been around. I've seen her a few times lately.
Yeah,
But
I'm
not
definitely,
Lori though.
I've seen Christy pop up a few times. We're definitely going to have to probably schedule her to come on the show one of these nights.
Yeah, that would be great. Make sure you let me know.
I'll tell you what, when I schedule her, I'll tell you, you can be co-host with me that night.
Oh wow. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And everybody, thank you. And thank you to Mr. Shawn Ellis for pulling us through the rabbit hole.
Anytime, my friend. You know,
Okay. Appreciate it.
it's what friends are for.
Okay. We had a great time tonight, and now I'm back to normal. Whatever normal is.
Normal. I don't think we ever have normal, do we?
No, I don't have normal. I'm far from normal.
I think I fell off that train a long time ago.
Yeah. It's the only way to be, is how we are. Who the hell wants to do the other part?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Thanks,
Oh,
Shawn.
no problem. Is there anything you want to say to close out your show here, Greg, before we go off the air?
No, just everybody. We should be back to normal next week. And anybody that's missed it, I want to thank my people too on my end. That go out of their way to help me every chance they get. And it's a great team to work with, and they're great people, the staffers. They've done a lot for me, and I'm very appreciative of that fact. Love them dearly. They're both great people. He was Army, I'm Army, that kind of thing. So we know each other. And thank you very much to everybody else that's part of our other show, One Spirit Connect. And if you're into doing any of that, Shawn, we could talk later on. But if you do any Estes sessions or anything like that, if you're you'd like to come on the show and do a session.
Yeah.
We do a lot of doubles.
Okay. I
And
think I caught the last one you were just doing here. Was a few days ago.
yeah.
I caught a little bit of that one. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we've been doing that for quite some time, and we try to go ahead and thank you, Christy. And we try to go ahead and make sure that we're well protected, and we have our prayers, and we do a meditation even before we get ready to do the show. So we
got my little things right here.
Going to keep that string like that, and you go around the corner in the dark, and you have to hit somebody in the nose with it. They're not going to feel too good.
Yeah, we should have caught your. Yeah, we had Greg had a little bit of trouble with
Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, and we end up switching over onto my show so he can do his show tonight, which, like I said, I hope Greg. So
yeah, awesome. And once again, it's the all access TV network that's saved me twice already. So it's like you guys are like my saviors now. And I hope I don't have to ever use you guys again. Not that I don't want to.
Come on, Greg. You want to come over and hang with us.
I would keep it that way. You guys all have a great night. And
have a great night, everybody. And thank you for your service, Greg. And
thank you.
Looking forward to this summer. We're going to have a team up sometime this summer.
Okay. We'll get it going.
All right. Everybody have a great night. We're out of here.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.